What's up guys, in this video we're going to be going over instrument and MIDI racks. They work the same as audio racks, but they go in MIDI channels. So let's go with instrument rack, and we'll load up our devices here, or our device routing chain. So let's go, we'll just use an operator. For now, we will select a saw, maybe one with a bit more upper harmonics. And I'll give it a bit of spread. Cool, I have that. So say if I want to add another device or a synthesizer, I can drop that right down there, and I'll init, and I'll just make kind of a super saw-ish wave. Alright, so we have that. Alright, so we have these two sounds here. Alright, so what can I do? I can do a lot of things. I could, let's arpeggiate the upper sound here for our operator. So I'll add an arpeggiator, and it goes right there, right? That'll go 16ths. And just for fun, we'll add a ping pong delay. Cool, now what can we do with this? Well, we can drop an EQ. And a very strong reverb. I'll just double click to collapse those. Oops. Lost my phone. Put that there. And I'll compress this so they're both kind of at the same kind of volume. I can do another technique. Well, not a technique. I can pitch this up with a MIDI device. Right. Pitch it up or down. Right. So from there, I can, you know, kind of leave that as is, or I can add a bit of low end. So I'll do that with another operator. This is just, you know, examples. Right, a nice sine wave. And what I'll do is I'll add an audio effect. I guess I'll add an amplifier. And I'll squish the crap out of it. How about that? Right, so if we take that arpeggiator out, we have this low end here, and I'll just turn that off. Right, so we have this kind of brittle super saw sound. Right, but when we add this low end sine wave and an amplifier plugin, this kind of deep sound. Right, and that works out pretty well. And we can map certain things to our macros. Like, say, we can have a separate filter for each of these, and that works out well. Okay, let's add another effect rack here. Alright, so I'm just gonna add in two operators. I'll put this one below this. Cool, I'll have one. And I want this one to be squished all to heck with interesting harmonics. Alright, we have that. Let's just drop in some effects. We'll go saturator. Just so things don't go over a certain volume. And what else do I want here? Let's see. Oh, come on. There we go. Dynamic tube. Alright, we have that. So let's add a filter before then, and we'll boost the resonance here. Alright, cool. So we'll close those, and then we'll EQ it, just so we get, oops, just in there, so we get that brittleness coming through. The problem, we've lost a lot of low end. Well, we can add a sub oscillator, totally separate from that chain, so it's not affected. So we'll have that, and we can make it wobble, because wobbling is fun. So we'll play them together and hopefully my math works out. Alright, so we have that brittleness. I'll just accentuate it a bit, and yeah, I guess we'll get rid of this. Just a weird example, and then we can compress that, like, you know, afterwards, just to give it a bit more edge. Kind of make the attack. If that makes any sense. And we can map both filters to a macro here, just for funsies. So I'll go map this to macro 1, map this to macro 1. Right, just as an example, not perfect, but you generally get the idea. So another thing we can look at, we'll just get rid of all these. So we have, you know, just our instrument rack here. MIDI effect racks, I don't really use it that much, but it's a good way to kind of get some interesting arpeggiating patterns. You get MIDI running in parallel instead of just like sequentially one into another. So we have that. And then we can add another arpeggiator. Right, multiple arpeggiators going on at once. Right, so you can get some like kind of interesting patterns. Right. What else can you add? You can just go to town here. Well, pitch won't really do much. You can adjust the note length for certain, you know, arpeggiators, but that would be a gate. You can have a scale going into one or the other, and you can add different kind of scales. We'll have that post, I would assume. Right. I'm about to break Ableton, but yeah, you get the idea. And that is your effects. You wouldn't really be using that, but you can get some really interesting arpeggiating patterns just by stacking these up and having them at different kind of rates and speeds. It's almost like a sequence. That sounds rather broken. Alright, hope you learned stuff, and we'll be back with some more fun things.